Dori, are you there?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can
Good
now.
morning.
It's good to have
Morning,
you.
Clarence.
And thank you for affirming me. I needed that today, that article. Absolutely. Why did you write this article, Dori?
Well, I think that it's a conversation that needs to start happening and start gaining momentum with people living longer, closer to 90. The idea of retirement is really, well, what does it mean in this day and age? It's a concept that was created in a different time zone, really, many years ago. And I think that it needs to be reconsidered. And what does it mean? Not just for organizations, as in how do we ensure that we keep people that want to work and that are able to work for longer, but also just in terms of our own personal growth and our own mindset around the fact that, well, work doesn't stop at 65. It can continue. And what does that continuation look like for each and every single one of us? So it's a time of reinvention, maybe.
But you're saying there's value there. You're saying there's value in the age of AI when people are going to be losing their job, essentially. And I guess FIFO is going to be one of the means of ridding people from their jobs. Tell us essentially what qualities 50-plus-year-olds harbor. What do they bring to the party? What is their contribution? And I think we can understand it in terms of maybe deep industry acumen, in terms of institutional memory, in terms of problem-solving skills. Tell us about the value.
Well, people that have lived to 50 plus, 60 plus, have been around the block a number of times. We've experienced, I was listening just a short while ago, you were saying that, we've moved from telephones to cell phones, and just the number of transitions and changes and advancements that we've experienced. And that is just all memory. The application and the adaptation of all of those changes is something that makes us resilient, that gives us insights as to how to adapt to change in a very fast changing world. And those are things that I think AI is not going to be replacing anytime soon. Just the human element of how do we navigate and how do we show up and how do we maintain ourselves mentally and physically fit and healthy to continue to be to continue to be relevant in this world that we live in. So I think it's the softer skills and the softer resilience that and leadership and adaptability that we bring to the party.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I was worried that maybe the machines could bring some emotional quotient to the equation. And for a while, I thought we'll be safe with the EQ that life has afforded us. But then I found my sister in a conversation with AI Chomi, and it was a really, I thought, emotionally intelligent conversation. I was really worried. Are the machines not going to be able to even beat us at that?
Clarence, we don't know. I think that there's a lot of speculation, and I think that, I kind of look at AI almost like cell phones. If anyone had told us how we were going to be using cell phones and to what extent and how they would be part of our lives, when we first started using them, it would have been unbelievable. And I think that the pendulum will swing. We're going to shift very much into using AI everything, including having coaches, AI coaches, and having AI replace the EQ component or what humans now bring to the party. But I'm a firm believer that we found our balance. We shift back and we kind of let that pendulum swing back towards the center. And, I think it's not one or the other, but it will be and. And some people will choose AI for their EQ fix or for their coaching or whatever it is that they may need, and other people will say no, they actually want the human connection, the people connection. So
Yeah.
the real challenge for all of us is to find our space in all of that, isn't it? And I think therein lies the opportunity for people of all ages and all generations.
It's the nature of change. It's absolutely seismic. And maybe you are suggesting a seismic change in attitudes. And in your article, you talk about, for decades, careers, and I'm quoting, followed a predictable path. Study into your 20s, work for 30, 40 years, then retire at about 60 or 65 years old. This model assumed productivity declines after 60, an idea increasingly challenged by research and real-world experience. It's reality that, retirement at that age is no longer possible for many.
Well, just from a financial perspective is the first thing, is that, yes, you know, when we retired at 65 before, you were going to be living to around 70, 75. So your retirement savings was going to last you 5 or 10 years. Now you're going to be living closer to 90. So now if you're retiring or you stop earning an income at 65, you now have to have enough money to support you for 25 years. Aside from the financial strain or challenge, is what do you do with yourself for 25 years? Do you literally just waste away and have absolutely no purpose and nothing to do? So 65 is really the age of reinvention and growth and being strategic about how do you want to play out? What do you want to be doing for the next third of your life, really? And there's a lot of opportunity there for the individuals and for organizations. I really, really believe that.
And the challenge is also an opportunity. You talk about adapting to new technology. It is intimidating, the pace of change. And you say we should embrace it a little more enthusiastically, maybe.
Well, the change is not going to stop, is it? It's like wishing that, you know, we could go back to the days of, you know, the 1900s. It's not going to happen. Time moves forward. Change happens. It's about embracing, adapting, and figuring out how you let that change impact you on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, we all have choice. Yes, we get carried with the momentum, and you know there is the thing that says, well, you know, if you don't keep up to date, you'll be left behind. But you do have some choice around how much you want to adapt and how much you want to integrate and how you want to make it useful and beneficial for you. So I encourage everybody. I'm turning 60 next year, and I know that I'm a lot more tech savvy than many younger people. And it really just is an attitude of learning and adapting and not being afraid. I think fear is the biggest challenge for most people, and that is regardless of age.
So I'm your generation. You were born 66. I was born 1967. We are Generation X. What really do we bring to our party? What is our generational contribution in your mind, Dori?
I get confused with all the generation. I know I'm a Generation X, but I would say that we were the lucky generation because, I mean, we really just experienced the boom of so many things. I mean,
and the bust.
Exactly. But, we haven't experienced World War, whereas previous generations experienced not one, but a few. We are the generation of can-do, growth, and I think that's really what we bring to the party, to the mix, is that we just do things. We get on with it. We don't know any other way, and so that gives us some adaptability, and it gives us the there's no end. We just keep going, kind of thing. I think the resilience.
Yeah. You call them soft skills, but I think they are going to be in-demand skills. That measured approach, that experience with change that we can bring. Our experience allow us to approach new ideas and challenges maybe with a more measured and a calculated perspective. Time would have taught us that, but ultimately the objective is embracing an age-diverse workforce. So if 50-plus-year-olds in South Africa constitutes 15% of the population, do you manufacture your workforce in line with those numbers?
Not necessarily. I think that it's really just, data drives a lot of decisions, and that's not wrong. But I think that we also have to have sentiment and emotions allowing a lot of things to drive how we go forward. And it really is, we worry about young people and mental health. And I'm saying, well, let's make sure that we don't create a mental health problem on the other end of the spectrum, because we are retiring people too early. And that is potentially what we have, not just in South Africa, but globally, that we are looking at bringing people into the workplace and giving them the tools to be able to settle in and grow and develop. But at the other end of the spectrum, we're creating another problem where we're saying, we're now letting you go, and you're no longer relevant, and you no longer have a purpose, and you've gone from having something to do on a Friday to having nothing to do on a Monday. What potential problems are being created by that, that attitude and that policy that we have in place?
My guest, Dori Marino, growth strategist and founder of Self Journey, wrote an interesting opinion piece in the Business Day on the untapped value that the over 50s represent for the workplace and for the economy. But you say it's an important time to be introspective as well, to ask what now? And how should you answer that question?
The answer is different for everybody. I think, I have this conversation with many people, and some people say, oh, please leave me alone. I can't wait to retire at 65. And that's okay. And then there are many people that say, yes, bring it on. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to transition. I'm ready to carry on working and be relevant and be more purpose driven. So I think that answer is a very individual one, but and one that we need to take responsibility for individually in terms of figuring out what does it mean for us? How are we going to face this next phase of our lives, and how are we going to show up, whether it be in the workplace or in the family or for ourselves even. But I guess that what we haven't had before is permission to have those conversations, because it was just a given that at 65 this is what's going to happen. And so the idea of wanting to work for longer was one that was an outlier, and you were seen as a bit strange wanting to do that. So I'm wanting to normalize that as people saying, well, I'm just going to carry on working until I decide I no longer want to be doing that, or the work that I'm going to be doing is going to be different because that's what I'm deciding to do now. But it's still purpose driven, and it's me that's deciding when I put down the tools, as opposed to it being decided for me.
Yeah, and you say that's an individual response that you need to make. I just cannot fathom. I can't fathom retirement. I really can't. But you
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, is that most of us are at that age now. I mean, you say, you're of my generation. I'm 60. I'm starting. The work that I'm doing now is so exciting. Probably more exciting than the work that I've done all the years leading up to now. And for anybody to kind of say to me, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing this, you're too old, you can't learn new things, there's no chance for you. It's just, as you say, unfathomable. So, and that's exciting.
Yeah, who said you can't teach a dog old tricks?
We can learn so many new tricks.
I want to just share this last little paragraph out of the article, and then I'd like you to go and find it, tapping into the over 50s workforce's potential in Business Day, and of course penned by Dori Marino, our guest. In a country grappling with high unemployment and a need for economic resilience, tapping into the experience and creativity of older South Africans is not just a social imperative, it's a smart economic strategy. By investing in the 50-plus workforce as creators, collaborators and leaders, we can build more inclusive, productive and future-ready economy for all. This is no kind of special considerations that you are asking for. You saying it's good for business.
Absolutely. Whether 50 plus individuals stay in an organization or whether they're encouraged to go out and start businesses to create employment, that's what you want to do, because you all of that money, it goes back into the economy. It builds that resilience. The more people you've got working, the more people you've got creating businesses, the more employment will get created, the more the money keeps flowing. People that retire, they're not adding to the economy. They're living off savings. They're constrained. So they're not spenders. So you want to actually just keep boosting that economic and that money cycle of people earning money, so that they're investing, so that they're buying, so that they are creating employment, so that they're spending, so that they're traveling, so that they're buying houses. So that is the economic boost that I see, and how older people or people of that generation can actually add to positively towards the unemployment statistics by creating employment if they're going and building businesses or starting new businesses.
Dori, we're going to wrap it there. We appreciate the article. Thank you for joining us today. Dori Marino, a growth strategist and founder at SelfGen. Again, find the article in Business Day.
It's a wild ride. Your new dad